Hello.
Hello. Hey, Dave. How are you?
I'm good, Ryan. How you doing?
Good. I appreciate you coming on today. And honestly, well, this is David Galkin from Fish Window Cleaning. I've used them at my house, so I know that they're awesome. The people he has working for them are awesome. I mean, it was a great experience. I don't have anything bad to say at all. But from that point, when I had my windows cleaned, I was actually more impressed with the marketing job that you guys do. I mean, I receive postcards and phone calls and recordings and text messages. I mean, it was a lot of stuff that you did kind of inspired me to bring it into our own company, and that's why I wanted to have you here today. So, could you kind of explain, give me a brief bio about yourself and your company?
Sure, Ryan. Thank you. Again, thanks for having me here. So, myself personally, my name is David Galkin. I've lived in the Valley for about 10 years with my wife, Stephanie. We have two small kids, a 3-year-old girl, and a 1-year-old boy. Um, I was born in the Ukraine in the old Soviet Union. My family came over to New York when I was three, to Brooklyn, so I grew up there. Went to college in Massachusetts and did some things after college and been running fish window cleaning here in the Valley for a little over 5 years. So that's
How did you get involved in the window cleaning business?
Yep. Didn't have any history in window cleaning or anything before. We are a national franchise. There's about 300 offices across the country.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
my wife and I always wanted to start a business. We talked about it ever since we met in college, but never did anything. And we figured before we have kids, we should probably actually try and start a business while we have the time and energy and all that. So we researched and went to some conventions and franchise, things like that, conferences, and long process, but we finally narrowed it down to fish and started fish a little over 5 years ago.
Awesome. And how's it been finding employees?
That's a good question. We've actually never had problems with that until maybe a little bit this year, but not really even as bad as we hear many other service business owners talk about it and gripe about. Um, Not exactly sure why that is, but we've done okay.
Well, I know the gentleman who came, I don't remember his name, but the gentleman that came to my house, he was just happy. I mean, I can't even explain it. He was happy to be there.
Yeah,
Uh, and that's hard to find. I mean, you can't be with your guys all day long.
yeah,
So
it's not possible. You know that, yeah.
you have to trust. Yes, we have struggles of our own, but you have to trust that they're doing what you would do,
Yeah,
really.
yep.
Um, so basically, what we're doing is this is very relaxed. I'm just going to go through 10 questions, and I have a bunch of them in front of me. We can talk about business, we can talk about personal, and like we said, no answer is wrong. And I'm just this for me. This is awesome because I get to talk to people that I want to talk to. Has nothing to do with the painting business, but in some ways, it's gonna relate. I'm sure to a
Sure.
service business.
Yeah, oh yeah,
So,
we're
could you tell me outside of work, what is your if you could do anything, like what's your most favorite thing to do with yourself and with your family?
like I said, I have small kids now, so just really doing anything with the kids. Like, and it's amazing, 2, 3 year olds, they're interested by everything. So we go to the park a lot. We go to Da Vinci Science Center. We try and go to Crayola all the time. We have memberships for all these places. We go down to Philly and go to the Please Touch Museum. So anything with the kids, because just something that I might have experienced 1,000 times. They haven't, and every time they go into one of these places or go to the park or see a new friend or a new slide at some different park, they're just amazed by it. So I don't know if that answers the question, but just spending time
Oh,
with the kids is just it's
yeah, absolutely. And
entertaining to say the least.
probably for me and probably the same for you guys is when you see the reaction the first time when they see all these things. That's cool.
Yeah. Yep.
What about I don't know if you guys do because we have struggles doing it too. What if their kids aren't there and it's you and your wife, do you have time to still go out and do things alone?
Not so much the past couple of years with the kids being so small. My wife doesn't have family here in the valley, and neither do I. So it's hard to find somebody to hang on to the kids for for an hour or two while we go do something. But when we're alone and the kids are asleep, I mean, we just talk. We try and plan. My wife is a planner. We plan out what we want to do for the next weeks and months. We already have vacations planned out for next year.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
that sort of thing. We just like to look at what we're doing in the future.
How do you guys, this is off topic, but how do you guys go on your vacations? Who keeps the business going?
So, good question. I have an operations manager who's been with me for 5 years, almost 5 years, a little under 5 years. So he will be my general manager soon, but he keeps kind of everything going. One of the reasons we wanted to buy into a franchise was the systems that are there. I know it sounds cheesy, but it's the absolute truth. More or less, the business runs itself at this point. I'm still involved in some of the sales. More or less, it runs itself.
Awesome. Cool. That's good. That's good. You found
Yep.
somebody.
Yep.
Um, yeah. Could you tell me, you're probably not on the job sites anymore because I understand how it goes. You're so busy. But how about your favorite client that you've ever worked for, if you could think of one?
Ooh, that would have, so I'll give you one commercial and one residential because that's how our business is split. So we had a residential client probably 2 years ago, year and a half ago. I won't disclose her name, obviously, but she probably called the office 3 or 4 times before her service to know exactly how many people are coming to her house, how many technicians, so that she can make everyone breakfast. She wanted to make sure she had enough eggs and bacon and waffles or whatever. I don't remember exactly what she was making, and coffee. And she wasn't kidding. Like when the guys got there, she full out had them sit and eat breakfast for 20 minutes before they started doing anything.
That's
Um,
awesome.
that was very that was amazing. We all like to talk about when there are issues with clients. We have to remember, like, when the good stuff happens, stuff like that is just
It's
just amazing.
appreciated. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yep. um, on the commercial side, we have a lot of commercial clients, so it's kind of hard to um, pick one. We have a small bakery kind of that we do every once in a while, a commercial client, and they always leave. The technicians always leave with a bag of like biscotti, and it's really good. It's amazing. They just don't let the guys leave until they take the bag with them. I don't know if that's a good story. I guess
No,
we're
absolutely.
obsessed, we're obsessed with food in our office. So
Well, if I could tell customers, it's, if they don't have to go out of their way, but if they're nice and pleasant and treat the people, with respect and
yeah.
talk to them, you get so much more
Oh, yeah.
um, out of the people you're hiring.
Yeah, I think
Um,
you touched on this a little before, but the one of our techs who was at your house who was just happy. So you and I and all of us really, we're really just in the customer service business, right? So what we do, whether it's painting or window cleaning or roofing, is really immaterial almost, right? Um, the customer service side and the relational side of our business is really what we do. You can switch your company into a roofing company if you wanted to. You just have to learn how to roof and get the material and the training. That's it,
yep.
right? Same thing for us. We can go into some other service and go into landscaping or painting. Um, so I think we all have to remember we're in the customer service business.
Exactly. No, that's a great answer. I'm not going to, I don't want to put it as your least favorite customer ever, but what is, and I'm sure you have some off the top of your head, but what would be some issues that you would have on a job site?
So
Client related,
yeah, so
not,
we're in the cleaning business. So looking at this is going to sound strange, but looking at clients individually sometimes drives you nuts. So you have to kind of lump people into um, categories or groups, if that makes sense. So we may have, like on the residential side of our business, a customer who is 75 years old and her entire life she cleaned her own house, her windows, her floors, everything. Now she or he are not capable of doing it because of their age. So they hire a company, right? Whether it's us or somebody else. But they did it for 40 years or 50 years the way they wanted to do it. So we've had a couple of customers that will follow us around and tell us how to do our job, and I'm sure you run into the same thing.
Yep.
Then you have customers who are too busy, they're middle-aged or whatever age they are, and they're just too busy to do their own cleaning, windows, floors, whatever. So they hire a company. And they're just happy that someone else is doing it because they literally don't have enough time in the day to do those things, right? So we try and lump people into different kind of groups. Does that make sense? So we run into issues of people following us around, telling us how to do the job when they hired us to do this job.
Oh, I relate to that a lot. I've actually had a customer that I physically painted their home, and we were doing the dining room. So it was, a small 10 by 10 room. We were painting the ceiling, the walls, and the trim. She took a chair and sat immediately in the center of the room as we were painting, and that's a little stressful, even though I know what I'm doing. Somebody watching you the whole time, and you are
Yep.
painting the ceiling above them. So what do? You just throw plastic over top of them? I don't know, but there are some interesting people out there, but some great people as well.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
both. That answered your question, but that was
Yes. No. Absolutely.
tangentially.
What would you say if somebody told me about you? What would be your strongest personality trait?
Um, Probably that I'm trusting of people, I guess. Does that make sense? Maybe a
Mm-hmm.
little much sometimes.
Hmm.
How about yourself?
For me, I think I'm driven. Um, I like to get to the results, so I'm not really a detailed type of guy.
Okay, yeah.
Um, Sometimes I just go right for the result. So
Yeah.
my wife is completely opposite. So sometimes we butt heads. We can't put things together.
Yeah,
Like at Christmas time, it's not we don't put the toys together.
yeah.
But how about if you have one, what's your most embarrassing moment?
Ooh, uh,
That's a tough question.
yeah, that's a good one. Okay, this will be a little too in depth personally, maybe, but um, I actually attended law school at Villanova Law. Um, Not because I wanted to, but I was at that age. I left college and I was doing some things after college, and then my parents wanted me to go to law school. It's a typical immigrant: be a doctor or a lawyer. Like that's it. There's no other choice in life. Um, so I went to law school because that's what my parents wanted. Looking back at it now, you should never let someone convince you to do something that you really don't have the desire or your full heart into it. So it was sort of, I'm not going to say it was a waste of a year, but you can't get that year back. I met some awesome people, learned things. Obviously, it helped me as an individual, but I don't know if that makes sense. It was embarrassing when I told my family that I wanted to leave. So,
I got you.
does that make sense?
Yeah, well, that's interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah.
Um, how about if you weren't doing what you're doing right now in your business, what's one thing you'd want to do
Um,
if you weren't
yeah.
in the window cleaning business?
Yep. So business wise or just in general?
Let's how about both? Let's do both.
Um, I'd love to be an explorer of sorts. Is that,
You
you
like to
know?
travel?
Yeah, my wife and I, we both like to travel. So um, I'd like to be an explorer, if that's even a,
Uh,
a
is it a job?
profession,
Yeah,
a
I don't know.
vocation. Yeah. Um, yep.
Where have you guys traveled to?
Oh, we backpacked after college. Well, my wife and I met in Hong Kong.
Oh wow.
When she was in college, she went to study abroad in Hong Kong, and I did too, and we met there. So when we were there, we went to the typical Southeast Asia, Thailand and Vietnam and Cambodia and China and all of that. And then later in life, before we had our kids, because again, we figured, hey, we're not going to travel once we have kids, probably. So we went to Europe, to a couple of countries in Europe, France and England and Spain and Morocco and Italy and all that. Well, Morocco not in Europe, but
That's amazing that you met her
yeah,
all the way over there.
Yep.
It's a small world.
It is a tiny. Yeah, I learned that after traveling for a little bit that we're all the same. We're all just people that are trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
The world's a lot smaller than people give it credit for.
Well, what about business? What if you weren't doing your business? What other other than exploring,
Yeah.
would you have another business that you're interested in? Do you have?
Um. Yeah. I don't. I never really thought about that too much, I guess. I kind of, I guess I'm a little bit of a stoic. Like whatever I'm doing at the moment, I try and, I try and focus on what I'm doing. So business wise, I'm not sure, to be honest.
Well, I mean, you enjoy what you're doing,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoy it. So
And you said before that you do mostly the sales.
yeah, mostly like the larger commercial and some of the more custom residential stuff. So that's mostly what I do. I still try and work. And we're always trying to fine tune our businesses, right? So we're always trying to improve hiring systems, marketing systems, just always trying to improve things and make things flow
So
smoothly.
so I have a great question for you then,
Mhm.
because we're in similar roles. Because I really only enjoy doing the sales and the marketing and kind of tweaking all the
Yep.
systems.
Yep.
Um, I don't enjoy the day to day operational stuff, and now you have an operations manager. How did you get yourself out of the phone calls that, hey, they missed a window, or hey, they did this, or that they did that?
So interestingly enough, I mean, sometimes when I am in the office, I still like if the phone rings, I just instinctively I pick it up. So I do take some of those calls once in a while, right? Um, but I guess I just kind of realized at some point, maybe it was like 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, that um, that's not the best use of my time. And this is through reading business books and talking to other people and people like yourself and just networking with people. Um, so somebody once told me that you can't scale perfection. If that's a
Yep.
so I realized that that's just the truth of it is not everything is going to be done exactly how I want to do it, and maybe I'm not even doing things the right way. Maybe the way I'm doing it is horrible and somebody else can do it better. So the first step was kind of my operations manager. When I first hired him, it was really hard to trust him and to give him enough of a leash or whatever you want to call it, to
Yep.
let him do things his own way. But after time, you see that, hey, everything's working out fine and customers are happy and the staff is happy and things are happening. You just kind of learn that that's okay. And it's hard for I think for a lot of business owners because we're control freaks, right? Most of us.
Yes. Yep. I have to get out of my own way.
Yes, yeah.
How
That's it.
many? How many? Can I ask how many technicians do you have?
So right now, because the season is winding down, we are semi-seasonal. We are at seven technicians now, but like in the spring and summer, we'll get up to about 16 to 18.
Oh wow. So we're similar. We're
Yep.
similar size. Same
Yep.
thing. And you're probably seasonal, just as we're seasonal. Is it the
Yeah. Yes.
winter?
Yeah. The winter slows down. It's just we try and get as much commercial work as possible because that does go through the year. But the larger commercial, due to equipment and residential, due to psychology of customers, they think we can't work in the winter. Those stop in the winter.
Okay, I understand. Same with us.
Yeah.
Um, if perhaps you won the lottery,
Hmm.
you didn't have to work.
Hmm.
What would you do? Would you work?
Yeah, I probably would. I don't know. And I have a little bit of that trouble now, like since I'm not involved in the day to day of, kind of what do I do with the time? Obviously you're still tweaking how the business runs. But that's a good question. I would work. I don't think I can lay on a beach. That would get boring
Hmm.
quickly, I think. Um, I would probably start another service business or get involved with maybe larger, we're both, like you said, the same size, maybe try and get involved um, with larger service businesses to see how they scaled to where they are and try and either learn from that or help them or help myself get to those levels, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Well, would you guys be considered in this area? I don't really know other window cleaning companies. I just use you guys. Would you be considered medium sized, or are you a large size company for this area?
So for this area, we're probably large. In general, exterior cleaning, so window cleaning, power washing companies, it's really hard to get to $1 million in revenue and gross revenue. Like there's very few window cleaning companies, like very in the whole country, that are near $1 million. Um, so we're in this area, we're the largest.
Are there other services that you have thought about adding, or
Every
you guys are good at what you do, and let's
Yeah,
stick there?
yeah, we try and stick to that, but every year I think about power washing and soft washing, right? Every year I think about that, and every year I look at what we're doing, and we don't even get all we keep getting new window cleaning customers. So why complicate? Right? In business, simplicity is an important thing. So why?
So I have similar experiences there. We would try, let's do new construction,
Yeah,
and then that's a totally different business from what we do. So
yeah,
you need different types of painters, different equipment.
yep,
Everything's different, and
yeah,
it just all it did was really muck up our schedule.
yeah,
Um, and we just weren't good at it. Honestly, we weren't good at managing the schedule.
yeah,
The contractors who were running the jobs weren't good at having a schedule. So I've learned, trial and error to keep it simple. Do
yeah,
what we do. Do what
yeah,
we do best.
yeah. Sometimes people that I talk to, they're amazed. All we literally we clean bird poop off of glass. That's what we do. That's what we do. And people are amazed that we have like a legitimate company that does this. We have an office building, and we have staff, and we have trucks, and we have equipment and training program. Like it blows people away, which I think is it's kind of funny.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. Um, what are you most afraid of? Do you have a fear? It
Uh,
could be business related or personal.
I try not to think about my fears. um, I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, business related. Just I guess maybe we all have similar things, like something in the market changing that's like so insanely out of our control that it severely slows us down or cripples us. Right? They're not
Hmm.
going to make you know regulators aren't going to make painting illegal or window cleaning illegal. Right? That happened in the what is it the what's going on now with all the vaping and everything, right? And
Yep, exactly. And I have a friend who's in that business.
yeah, something like that. That's scary, right?
Yep.
Totally beyond your control. But I think that's a big fear. Personally, I don't know. I try not to think about fears too much.
Okay. Now, on a positive note, how about what is your biggest win ever?
My biggest win, uh, starting the business and getting to where I am. I had a near nervous breakdown in the first like 5 or 6 months. So much so that the franchisor was almost going to step in and pull our franchise agreement and not let us continue operating.
Oh, wow.
So kind of a personal thing, but it was scary the first 6 months.
How did you overcome that?
My wife, she's
Yeah.
stronger than I am.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the truthful answer. She helped get through, helped us get through it.
How about maybe you've already answered this. What is one of the most defining moments in your life?
Uh,
Tough
kids,
questions for a Friday.
yeah, jeez, I haven't had lunch yet. um, the kids being born, right? Is that too cliche?
No, no, that's awesome.
Yep.
And you said that's what you like to do, like that in your free time. That's
Yeah,
what you
really.
like to do.
Yeah, we just hang out with them. It's like I said, it's just even sitting down and putting a puzzle together or playing with a fire truck. It's like it's very interesting to watch kids do what they do.
Yeah. Okay, last question. If you could offer any advice to so people who all have the same size businesses as us, do you have a couple, maybe two or three pieces of advice that you've learned over the years,
Uh, yeah,
or tip?
probably. I think yeah, we talked about this before. Is don't be afraid to bring other people in and into your business and see how they do and give them enough room to do what they're supposed to do.
Hmm.
That makes sense. Um, and always be marketing. I think you know this, right? I
How,
think,
I
yeah.
don't want to interrupt you, but
I know.
how did you the marketing? Does that come from the franchise, or is that something that you've kind of developed on your own?
So
It's because it's
yeah.
beyond any other company that I've really run across.
Thanks. So that it's just that's a separate software we use. It's not from the franchise. Like the stuff that you're getting, the stuff in the mail and the emails and the text messages. I mean, there's lots of companies and software that do similar things, I guess. But um, I realized at some point that society now has a very short attention span. I think we all know about that. So just constantly being in front of people is important, right? And
Hmm.
we're not, I get emails from I think Bed Bath and Beyond because my wife ordered something once, and we get an email like every 2 days. Um, we don't send out that many emails, but always be marketing. I think probably newer people that start in your business, my business, any business, they're they get stuck in that little wheel of you sell a job and then you do the job, then you sell your next job and you do that one, right? And you can never grow if that's constantly where you are because you're just chasing your own tail.
Hmm.
That makes sense. Yeah, so always be marketing. And I guess the last one would be just to take care of the people in your business. Like I said, we're in the customer service business. You have to take care of your customers, but before you do that, you have to take care of your staff. Make sure they're happy,
Absolutely.
know what they're doing, and they like what they're doing, and um, realize this is a little deeper, I guess, but I realized also that I don't expect any of my staff to like stay with us for 20 years. I honestly don't. And I probably don't want them to. Um, so just realize that the year or 2 years or 3 years or 5 years, however long your staff is going to be with you, make that like a nice time and a fun and educational and just a good time to in their life. That's it. So that when um, when they're looking back at their life, they can say, "Hey, those 3 years that I was with Ryan or with Dave, those are great." Right.
Hmm.
So that's my advice, I guess, if it makes any sense.
No, it definitely does. No, I appreciate it. I mean, it was great answers, and I think letting other people hear about your experiences, and they're very similar to mine. It definitely helps other people out. I think
Yeah.
sometimes we get caught up in just going day by day and doing the same thing over and over, and it gets to be a grind, and nobody enjoys it, nobody stays in the moment, and that's when it becomes a job. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I like to get up and go out and meet people. That's what I love. But it sounds like that's what you love.
Yep.
But cool. I appreciate it. I appreciate your time.
Yeah. Thanks
Uh,
for inviting me. This was
awesome.
interesting.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, David.
Yeah. Thanks, Ryan.